This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 19, verse 14. It says, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai have mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. Shalom, shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I want to give all praise, honor, and the glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles, bishop, and elders, a great millstone that rule well, and peace and blessing be multiplied on all you brethren teaching this word in all sincerity and in truth. Shalom to the elect, 144,000, and the rest of the elect out there, shalom. I'm the brother Dama Gabar, here with another lesson, Lord willing to edify through the spirit and power of Yahweh wa Yahweh Shai. All right, and I got a doozy for you today, man. And it's just further showing you how, through America is, and just how through Esau Edom is, and how base and how low, and just how, he's just showing himself to be the bases of men. All right. And these are not a wise people. They're not they're just totally overrated, and they're just totally weak, and they're totally destroyed, man. And as Babylon the Great continues to be, imploded from the inside out, as the Most High is continuously bringing down America, the Lord is also bringing down the image and the image of the so-called white man, who are the biblical Edomites, man. And I got this article I'm gonna show you to just how base and how perverse America has become. So let's get this word for perverse, right? And the word perverse in the Hebrew is ayam, all right? And it says distorting, perverting, a warping, okay? And this place is perverted, is warping. But let's go to this word to distort, right? I'm just going to go to a regular Google dictionary. Distorting, it says, distorting is the act of twisting, deforming, or misrepresenting something, causing it to lose its original shape, sound, or true meaning. It involves altering reality or appearance to create a false. Keep that in mind. Altering reality or appearance to create a false, unnatural, or unattractive image or sound, such as in distorting the facts or a mirror distorting a reflection. Here it says what? Physical deformation. You see? And that's something that's heavy, a physical deformation, okay? And that's something I'm going to show you in this article that I'm going to show you, right? But it tells you here, it says what? Perverting, warping. Let's look up this word for warping, to warp something. All right, warping, it says the distortion, bending, or twisting of a material, typically wood, metal, or plastic, out of its original shape, often caused by uneven moisture loss or heat. It refers to turning away from a straight or natural state, and can also describe distorting information or moving a ship via ropes. But the main point, it's about distorting the natural state of something, right? Let me show you how bad and how distorted Esau Edom has become, man. And something that's a trend here in America and in Babylon the Great. Look at this. It says twisted minds, right? Warped rise on LOOKSMAXXING, which I didn't know what the hell LOOKSMAXXING was until I saw this video. It says where men smash faces with hammers, break legs, and pay for hunter eyes to get girlfriends, man. And who was at the forefront of this thing called LOOKSMAXXING is Edomites, white men. You see, because right now, like I said, hey, the image of the so-called white man is tarnished, man. And as Babylon the Great continues to, to circle the drain, the so-called image and the so-called, reputation of the so-called white man is going down the shitter right along with Babylon the Great. And a lot of people are coming to the realization that this man is overrated. He's not this great hunk. He's not as great as he's always presented himself to be. So-called white men and women are not the image of beauty. All right. And we fully understand now that they're the bases of men. They're the lowest of the nations, But since they've been able to be in rulership, they've been able to be, on the top, they've been able to create this false image of themselves, which is, which has been overinflated, it's overhyped, and now they're going to these extremes to try to make themselves attractive, to try to make themselves, to get a girlfriend. Like this thing said, now they're going so far as to doing this thing called LOOKSMAXXING to try to up their value in the eyes of women. It's fucking, it's unbelievable, man. This place is totally finished, man. Hey, and this is why I read that scripture. The Lord is putting a perverse spirit here in Babylon the Great. And this is just one aspect, as people are seeing that the so-called, you got a lot of these white, even the so-called white women, even a lot of them are coming out and saying that the problem with the world is so-called white men. All right. They're perverse, they're child molesters, they're PDF files, they're weirdos, man. They eat they drink B double LOD. They eat jerky. You know what I'm talking about. They're the problems with they're the problems with the society. They're the problems with the earth. And now they're going so far as now to warp their appearance to try to get women, which, the so-called Black, Latino, and Native American, man, we don't have to do all this shit or go to these extremes to get women. Jake is just naturally charismatic. Jake got game. Jake is just, Jake just has it, man. But to show you how far Edom has to go to try to get women, they're taking it to this extreme to where they're warping their looks. They're turning to this thing called LOOKSMAXXING and breaking their legs to try to get taller, to try to get, to look more appealing to women. A lot of them are on steroids. The extreme people are going just to try to, up their physical value is absolutely ridiculous, man. And it just shows you just how much of a perverse, warped, distorted spirit the Lord has on Babylon the Great, man. So let's read some of this article, man. And it says, a disturbing trend is urging young men to take extreme measures to improve their looks. Also, they can get a girlfriend. Because why? You got a lot of these young guys, they're incels. They can't get pussy. They can't get women. Ultimately, it just boils down to these dudes. It's a lot of these Edomites, man. They just ain't got no game. That's all it really is. Like I said, I ain't never had a problem getting women. I remember there was a period where I didn't even have a car. I still had 3-4 women, picking me up, taking me where I had to go, giving me the BOX, if you know what I mean. You see, it's just, Jake just got natural charisma. We're just a natural charismatic. We got game. We can make women laugh, even if we don't. And I've seen Jake who are not the best looking guys, but they got hell of personalities. They can make women laugh. They funny, they're charismatic, what they don't have in physical appearance, they have other characteristics that still get them laid. But with the so-called white man, he's just a lame-o, man. He's always been lame. And like I said, and as we're getting closer to the end, as Esau is getting further, his reputation and his, dominion is further diminishing. Everybody is seeing just how truly base this man really is, man. And just how, warped this society is. It says, from smashing their own faces with hey, look, you ain't never seen no Jake go to this extreme. Smashing his face with a hammer to get a better jawline, to get women. You ain't never seen no Jake do that shit. Now, granted, do you might have some dumb niggas on YouTube or on TikTok probably trying to engage in this? Maybe. But they could be terrors as well. But ultimately, hey, this is just something that Jake don't do. Jake ain't gonna go to this extreme to get no goddamn women, man. This is more of a white boy thing, an Edomite thing. You see? And they still don't get no pussy. They'll do all this shit and still don't get no bras, man. It's just hilarious. But again, it's just showing you how the Lord just has this. Let me read that again. The Lord has this perverse spirit here in Babylon, man, in Egypt. Let's read this again. Isaiah chapter 19, verse 14. Yahweh hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. You see? And this is what you see, man. This place is there's a perverse spirit, and this place is failing on every level, from the top to the bottom, man. From the government, from the Trump administration to the military, to the economic systems, all the way down to the citizens and the people of Babylon. There is a perverse, weird ass spirit out here, man. And it's only going to get worse and worse, man. So it says, from smashing their own faces with a hammer to chisel a better jawline to having leg extension surgery to be taller, expert fear the twisted craze of LOOKSMAXXING could turn deadly and also harm young women. You see, but it's guys like this guy. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. He's a fucking clown, man. And he still's not a good looking guy. He's still just a basic, everyday looking fucking white boy, man. And I'm not saying that to be negative. I'm not saying that as if I'm trying to hate, but it's just true. He's just a regular looking fucking white guy. Now, if he was a good looking guy, I don't have no problem being like, oh, he's a good looking guy. I'm pretty sure he gets a lot of women. But just looking at this guy, he just looks like a basic, regular, dorky white boy, man. And they say that this guy is like the head guy that's a part of this whole fucking movement of this LOOKSMAXXING bullshit, where he's putting hammers and chiseling his face, taking steroids, doing all this shit just to try to get broads, man. You see, and another thing, the only reason the broads are even fucking with him is not because they think he looks good. We know that these women nowadays, they're just a bunch of groupies. And if you have a certain amount of following on Instagram, no matter what the fuck you look like, you can get women. All right. If these women perceive that you're popular, if you have a lot of followers on so-called Instagram, just that right there alone could get you some box from these silly women. You don't even have to put a hammer to your face and go to all these extremes to get these bras. These bras are easy. It's not hard to get a woman. But like I said, these Edomites, they just ain't got no game. They ain't got they just ain't got no spirit about them, They're the bases of men. They're just regular dorky white boys, man. You see? And he's going to all these extremes to do all this shit just to, get women. But you got a lot of incels, a lot of these dorky losers that'll see what he's doing and see him go from a so-called nobody to all of a sudden he's on social media getting all these followers. Oh, these people blindly follow this shit, man. Which shows you that a lot of these people are a bunch of followers and a lot of these citizens are just retarded. And like I said, and this whole LOOKSMAXXING shit, it can all be, it's all orchestrated, man. We understand that, shit like this that gains traction on social media, that becomes popular. A lot of the algorithms push that shit because ultimately they want to influence you dumbass people to be just as bugged out and stupid as these people. Look at it. It says LOOKSMAXXING influencer. His name is Clavicular, has spoken about taking a hammer to his jawline to appear more attractive in the past. And look at this guy. He's just a regular, average, everyday white boy. He's probably on steroids, but you know what I mean? It just shows you that he's a fucking loser and a fucking geek. It's just a basic white boy. You got Jake out here who has way more charisma, better bodies, more game, just naturally. But you see the extreme these white boys got to go to, and these people just to get women, man. You see? And look at this guy. Look at this fucking moron. Look at this dork. Look, young men have started to do bone smashing exercises while they hit themselves with a hammer to try and have a more chiseled jawline. So Esau's through, man. Look at this fucking moron, man. He don't even know the psychological damage he's doing to himself by taking a hammer to his fucking jawline, man. But it just shows you that these guys, this is part of that perverse spirit, man. It says, first emerging in the early 2010s, LOOKSMAXXING was a phrase used on disturbing, misogynistic online forums. The term quickly spiraled from self-improvement to a desperate desire for teenage boys to fit in by undergoing life-altering and permanent surgery. And it's mainly these white boys, man. You see, Jake is going to get women just off GP, like I said, just because they got game or because he's a good athlete or he can jump high, he was on the basketball team, or because Jake, because Jake has dope hair. Or whatever the case might be, or just because the way that Jake dresses, Jake can get women like that. But these white boys, man, they got to go to these extremes just to try to get a fucking girlfriend, man. But like I said, hey, it's part of this warped spirit the Lord has in this place, and it's the same with a lot of these women. A lot of these women are going to these extremes. They got the BBLs, they got the fake butts, they got the spider lash eyelashes, all the weaves, all the makeup. It's just a very warped society that we live in, to where people are going to these extremes just to try to look attractive, man. And a lot of these people do this shit just to get Instagram followers, just to get some type of following, so they could, utilize social media to get fame and to make money, man. Which shows you that these people, a lot of these people don't have, they have hollow souls, man. They're they want attention. They want to feel like they need to be somebody so bad, man. But that just shows you, more of the perverse spirit that's here in America. And this is why this place is slated for complete and utter destruction, man. This shit is just crazy, bro. It says, in the last few years, it has spiked in popularity on social media platforms, with users widely sharing stories of how they got their good looks. They still ugly and they still ain't good looking, man. It says video showcasing an influencer before and after transition can rack up millions of views within days. You see, a lot of these people are doing this shit for what? Popularity, to get fame, to try to feel important, man. And like I said, and it's not because these guys are making themselves look better, because a lot of these guys look like shit. They don't even look better, but it's just the fact that the more followers you can have, the more of a social media popularity you can get women just off of that. Whether that shit is making your jawline sharper or you're altering your appearance by doing these stupid things or not, man. These women just, these women, if you got any type of so-called status or appear to have money, you can fuck these bitches, But it just shows you, man, these places through, man. Like I said, and it's all just a fucking trend. These are these trends that these dumbass people follow to get popularity, not knowing that the psychological and mental damage that they're inflicting upon themselves, man. It says now thousands of young men consider themselves looksmaxers and can be found across both TikTok and Instagram. So, hey, so now this is becoming a trend. You probably got guys that go to your gym or, guys that you're around that are low key behind closed doors, riding this wave and are on this trend. Got videos of themselves beating themselves in the face with a hammer or whatever other, extreme measures they're taking to try to look good for a fucking woman, man. Just absolutely crazy. It says the basic principle of looksmaxing is to improve your looks to help attract love interest, and a draconian spinoff has now emerged as now known as hard maxing. You see? This shit is like a gateway drug. It started as something basic. Now it's getting more extreme. Now they're hard maxing. Let's see what this says. It says hard maxing comes from warped forums. You see, there's that word. Warped forums, which recommend extreme measures to help others become more attractive, from Botox injections and steroids to expensive surgery. Right. Now you got guys doing leg lengthening surgeries where they'll allow them to put rods in their legs to be ideally 6 foot. And them niggas, they'll take that surgery and they can't walk for a whole goddamn year or 8 months, only to get taller and then to get taller and still get rejected, man. Here it is. Can you imagine, right? You go through this painful surgery to get taller, and then you do all this brutal surgery to get taller, only to still get rejected and not get no women. It's absolutely diabolical, man. It just shows you these people they're destroyed, man. America is through. It says these forums are also being blamed for a worrying number of suicides among young men who feel they don't look attractive enough. An expert told The Sun. You see. So this, like I said, a lot of this shit is being purposely, like I said, these algorithms push these type of videos because they want it to be popular. They only want to push algorithms and videos, particular videos because they want it to gain traction. They want a lot of you dumbass young men to go to these extremes to try to get women, and engage in all these things because what? It's just further psychologically fucking you people up, man. And then only to get involved in these different trends and these different things and still don't get no bitches. And then what? You just off yourself or you become depressed or you'll go get therapy and they'll put you on medication. It's just, a further and further downward spiral of destruction, man. See? And what is this? Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 15. Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that putteth thy bottle to him and maketh him drunken also. You see? And this is what this is like in philosophies, man. Like I said, these trends are becoming more and more popular. Now it's going from looks maxing to even a more hardcore version of it, man. To what? To where these guys are going to these extremes just to try to get women, man. And like I said, at the end of the day, they still don't get no women after this shit. It's just more of this warped and destructive behavior here of Babylon the Great, man. You see, you shouldn't have to go to this extreme just to get a fucking girlfriend or a date, man. But like I said, hey, man, this place is through. It says, and that thou mayest look on their nakedness. Thou art filled with shameful glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of Yahweh's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory, man. And that's all you see happening here in Babylon the Great. Hey, this is why a lot of places like China and Russia and a lot of these countries don't want the American influence of TikTok in their countries, man. You see? Because of shit like this, man. This is just, like I said, absolutely diabolical, man. It's crazy. It says Michael Haplin, associate professor of sociology at Dalhousie University, said, I observed a teenager stating that he was going to take his own life if he did not reach 6 feet in height. You see, you're willing to die over not being 6 foot. Hey, that's just That's crazy work right there, man. But you see, but this is the you know, this is part of the American experience. This is the Babylonian, you know, the wine of Babylon, man. That shit like this is even becoming a thing. It's crazy, man. It says while other users were told they were too ugly for looksmaxxing and they should consider suicide. God damn, man. It says they are told they need to looksmax if they want to look better or normal. Now you got a lot of people that hear this shit and believe it and they engage in this type of activity. See, this is them putting their bottom to them. And like I said, in these algorithms, they push these shits because it's all part of an agenda. They want a lot of these kids to, you know, partake in this type of destructive behavior, hoping at the end of the day that it further fucks them up, man. Because this is a filthy, wicked, and destructive society. This is why America, Babylon the Great, has to go. It's going to be destroyed, man. You see? It says, self-titled looksmaxxing influencer Clavicular, who's 20, whose real name is Braden Peters, has helped to develop his own disturbing technique to improve his looks. Bone smashing. Look at these fucking dorks, man. It says he detailed how to get the perfect jawline by using a hammer and claims his technique is supported by science. It says he filmed himself in the mirror using a hammer-style tool and repeatedly hitting himself with it under the guise of improving his jawline. Now, back in the day, they would consider somebody like this mentally unstable. This nigga should be in a goddamn nut house. He should be in Patton, man. You know, back in the day, he would have been what do they call it? Committed and locked up, man. But now these guys are given platforms and pages to push this type of destructive behavior to millions and millions of people, to to underdeveloped brains of these young men. You know, it says his other self-proclaimed top tips to look better include starving yourself of food and injecting testosterone. This is, you see the extreme Esau got to go just to get some box, man. It says Clavicular has over 970,000 TikTok followers and 420 Instagram followers, making him the biggest name in the looksmaxxing space, you see? And this shit is all being done on purpose, man. You know, they're using this guy to be the face of this whole movement. And guess what? This type of wicked, that's why we always say that wickedness is very profitable here in Babylon the Great, man. You see? And they're hoping that a lot of these young men follow this trend and fail. You see? Oh, well, look at him. If he's doing it, you know, show you just how blindly these people, you know, will follow people. This is why scriptures speak about the simple believe at every word, man. And a lot of these people that follow these trends are simple-minded, low self-esteem, can't get no girlfriend, incel, a type of younger men who are, you know, following after this bullshit, man. Again, it's more of the warped, the perverse spirit the Lord has on Babylon. It says his social media content revolves around him showing off his style on modeling trips, hanging out with bikini-clad women, or posing topless after trips to the gym. You see, and now this is what this is what they're trying to show you. This is what being a man is all about. Shit, it ain't about having principle. It's not about fearing the Lord. It's not about righteousness. But this type of what they call it. What's the word they use? I ain't used that word in a while. Metrosexual type of bullshit, man. You see? It says, here you go right here. Look, he's just a regular pimple-faced, dorky-looking white boy, man. It says, some of his videos regularly fall into the realm of the manosphere, the subject of Louis Theroux's new documentary looking at the growing subculture of internet misogynists and their poisonous beliefs. Here he is, a young Clavicular before he started promoting looksmaxxing. And look at him now. He's still a fucking dork. He's still just a regular-looking white boy, man. Like I said, he ain't got no game. He ain't got no charisma. Like I said, he's just popular on TikTok, and women are groupies and women are followers. So if they'll see him like, oh my God, that's that guy I saw on TikTok. Then automatically, you know, they want to be seen. They just, you know, they just want to go along for the ride. And he thinks it's because of his good looks and his jawline and his whole looksmaxxing techniques that got him this status of being this big hunk and this big, you know what I mean, hot shot, man. It's all bullshit. It's all stupid. It's all dumb. And this guy's going to end up, you know what I mean, looking like a fool in about 2 or 3 years, man. He's just going to fall off completely, man. It says he has been filmed partying with Andrew Tate, a notorious figure in the manosphere, and with white nationalist commentator Nick Fuentes. Another influencer known as Andrew Maxer hails himself as the internet's #1 looks maxer and boasts over 170,000 followers, blah, blah, blah. So look at this. It says, this is just facial trauma disguised as medical care, and there's no world where facial trauma leads to better aesthetic outcome. It doesn't exist. My advice would be stop, period. There's nothing about this that is going to work. It's not wrong to get an idea about how you want to look, but to create a DIY framework for achieving it, that's insane. It makes no sense. Like I said, a lot of these guys should be locked up, man. A lot of these dudes are these guys are insane. They're out of their minds. They're literally crazy, but now they're giving these crazy, unstable people platforms to what? To further influence people. That's why these people are called influencers, man. And for the majority of the time, these influencers are negative influencers. It's all done in wickedness, manipulation, and it's leading these dumbass people who believe any goddamn thing down the path of more depression and failed outcomes, man. You see, it says we cannot make you whole once you've injured yourself in an extreme form of DIY beauty enhancement. Another, like for instance, you got a lot of these women getting these BBLs. You know how many of them women regret getting that shit? Because why? It's trendy. They watch the rappers, the female rappers and these women out here with these fake asses, and they're trying to ride that way. They think this is what's going to bring them success. This is what's going to give them that $1 million man. That's what's going to bring happiness and stability and peace to their lives. But once they get the shit, they realize results do not, results vary, man. And ultimately, you end up just further fucking destroying yourself. You're not supposed to be chopping on your body, beating yourself in the face with a hammer to make yourself look better. And what they got this other shit where they're changing their eyes. What did it say? Almond eyes. What the fuck is that shit called? Not this faggot. Where's the other shit? Like this guy, right? Is my face the problem? And it's who? Dorky, goofy looking white boys, man. It says other influencers such as Kareem Shami or Syrian Psycho online often compares their looks before and after LOOKSMAXXIng. What does this little fucker do? Look at this guy. Let me dress my A's like this dork right here. Kareem now shows off his chiseled jaw, improved dress sense, and hairstyles to his fans. This could include canthopexy to correct a negative canthal tilt, injecting Botox to lower the eyebrows, or using filler to reduce eyelid exposure. Oh boy. She believes the trend is most harmful when it's viewed as a competition among men to look better than their peers. Right. And these people are through, man. But like I said, it's like a bunch of white boys. It's a bunch of Edomites, man. A bunch of these heathens. You see, it says the trend has grown rapidly on social media because of, that's what I said, of algorithm-driven platforms that reward extreme transformation, rigid beauty standards, and comparison culture. Yeah, it promotes wickedness, man. It promotes destruction. It promotes, low self-esteem, depression, because that's what it's going to ultimately lead to, but it's presented as something positive, man. You see, it says when optimizing your looks becomes framed as a competitive hierarchy where your worth is tied to facial angles or bone structure, that's when it shifts from healthy self-improvement into something more psychologically risky. See, and this is why they're allowing these platforms and these trends to gain momentum, because they know the psychological fuckery is going to cause on these people, man. All right. But yeah, man, I didn't want to get too deep into this shit, but hey, it just shows you, man, that, hey, this place is through, this place is finished. And hey, stay away from these influencers, man, because a lot of them are being, especially if you're seeing them popping around a lot, the algorithms are using them to psychologically fuck you people up, man. All right. All right. To give you more of a artificial, more of a, worldly view of yourself, man. And the scriptures tell you about being a friend to this world, man, or being highly adjusted to this world. You see the path of destruction that it leads you down. And this is Micah 2:10. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. Meaning what? America, you Jakes, this is not our rest, man. This is not the kingdom. This is not the end all be all. This is Babylon the Great. All right. This is the land of great confusion and weirdness and perverseness and things that are distorted and warped. And things that are good is bad. I mean, good is bad here, and bad is good here. Everything's been turned upside down. Everything is here is distorted, is warped, is weird, it's gay. Okay, it says because it is polluted, it shall destroy you, even with a show of destruction. Man, you see, and this is what part of this shit is. This whole LOOKSMAXXIng shit. It's nothing more but more of the warping, the distortion, and the perverseness of Babylon the Great. And this is just one level of it. We can go on and on and on, man. Hey, but this is why I've been telling you, Jake, man. Hey, this place is through. America is through. There's no healing this place. It's just going to continue to deteriorate on every level of society, man, whether it's economic, whether it's through the government, whether it's through society, and just in general, man. So Jake, get the hell out of Babylon the Great. Get your mind out of this place, and go back to the old paths, to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, man. So with that, Lord willing, this is edifying. I'm gonna give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Until next one, shalom.